Hello everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Mel and today is a super exciting video. It is the first round of TBR BLUFF. I hope you guys are excited because I am so excited. This is my new TBR game that I will be playing every month. If you missed it, I recently put up a video on my channel of the rules of the game, how it's played, and a tour of the board, so I will put that up in one of the corners here for you guys to check out. But today we're going to be playing our first round, and I'm a little bit nervous, not gonna lie. I really hope that the board is not too nice to me because that's no fun, but nice enough that I can actually get this TBR done. I'm gonna go ahead first and tell you guys what my mandatory reads are for the month, and then we'll jump into the rolls. Remember, I'm going to be doing 5 rolls. If I don't finish my TBR, we will be doing 6 next month, and yeah, I think that's all of the housekeeping things that I had to go over, so let's just jump into the mandatory books that I need to read next month. The first thing that I want to do is pick from my Witches Brew mug. This is the Patreon pick. Every single month, my Witches Familiar tier is able to put in a book that they want me to read, and I will draw one every month. I have 2 months to complete this book, so it's not one that if I don't get to it this month, it's the end of the world, unless I decide to put it on the TBR BLUFF TBR, in which case it's got to be done this month. So does me a favor because it gets on a book I need to read, but then shortens it into 1 month. So without further ado, let's pick out my first book. Okay, let's see what this is. Ah! The Name of All Things from Rachel. Awesome. So I really needed to get to this book. It is the sequel to The Ruin of Kings, the first in the Chorus of the Dragon series. It's by Jen Lyons. Cassidy read this book and really encouraged me to pick it up. I don't really know how to explain the plot of this book. It is told in a very unique way where we have a present point of view from our main character Kieran and a past point of view from a different character, and they're kind of telling you the story. There is footnotes. It is a high fantasy, political fantasy that is quite confusing with all of the bloodlines and the timelines, but it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Cassidy loved the second book. I want to say maybe even liked it more than the first one, but Becca from Becca in the Books gave this one a 2-star. So I'm a little bit nervous. I think Rachel enjoyed it, so hopefully I will enjoy it too, but I need to get a move on with this series, so this is perfect. Okay, so then just going really quickly into the books that I need to read for the month of August. The first is Nemesis Games. This is the 5th book in the Expanse series. The Expanse series, if you don't know, is an epic sci-fi space opera series following James Holden and his crew as they kind of navigate this ongoing brewing war between Earth, Mars, and the outer planets. Me and Rachel and my dad are all reading these together every other month. This is the month of Nemesis Games, so gotta get this read. Oddly enough, this is turning out to be the month of Rachel, so hopefully we all enjoy this book. Then we have one that I don't currently own, and that is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This is the officially unofficial book club pick for the month of August. Me, Cassidy, and Rye all read a book together on live sprints for the late night crew, and this month Rye chose Nettle and Bone. This is a book by T. Kingfisher that is more on her fantasy side. I think it is a bit of a fairy tale retelling. I'm excited to give it a try. I've not read any of T. Kingfisher's fantasy books, so hopefully I will enjoy this one. Then I need to get to Glow by Raven Kennedy. This is the 4th book in the Plated Prisoner series. I'm reading this for the Fantasy Romance Book Club hosted by Sahar from Basically Bookish Reads, and this series follows our main character Auren, who is dipped in gold. Everything but her eyes and her teeth is completely gold, and she is the favorite of King Midas. She lives in her cage and she's not allowed to get out of her cage because she is so very precious, but when she is traveling to meet King Midas in a different kingdom with a war brewing, she gets captured by enemy forces. And I think, last but not least, is the Backlist Book Club pick for the month of August, and that is Bitter Twins by Jen Williams. This is the 2nd book in the Winnowing trilogy following Ninth Reign. It is a crossover genre between sci-fi and fantasy. It follows a couple of characters as they kind of set off on this quest. I wish that there had been a little bit more setup, so I'm a little bit more world building, and I think Bitter Twins is going to give me that, so I'm super excited for the next book in the series. Okay, so I think that is all of the mandatory reads that I needed for the month of August. So without further ado, let's jump into the first roll. Okay, so the first roll of the first prompt, we have a 4, a 3, a 1, a 3, and a 2. So I think I'm going to keep these 2 3s. Let's re-roll these. Roll 2. Now we have 2 2s and a 5. So I think I'm going to keep these 2 2s. And last roll is a 5. Awesome. So we need to make something out of 2 3s, 2 2s, and a 5. First, we got a double 3 double 2, which is a Patreon pick. So let's cover up that one. So the first roll got me Patreon pick, and I gave my Patreons 3 or 4 different choices. I gave them most of my mandatory reads for the month, I think Bitter Twins, Nemesis Games, and Glow, and let them kind of pick between those because I wanted to get at least one on my TBR, and they chose Bitter Twins. So I've already kind of gone over what Bitter Twins is about. Very, very excited to read it, and super stoked that I managed to actually get it on the TBR. Okay, prompt 2, roll 1. We have a 5, a 3, a 1, a 3, and a 4. I don't love any of those, but since we do have 2 3s, we're going to pull those out. Now we have a 6, a 5, and a 1. Not ideal either, so we're going to roll these one more time. 2 1s and a 6. So we got to make something out of a 6, 2 1s, and 2 3s. Let's see what we can make out of that. Then we got a double 3 double 1, which is a thriller. Next roll, we got Thriller. And I struggled a little bit with this one, but I think I'm going to end up going with Things in the Dark by Jennifer Hilliard. This is the Book Troop Book Club pick for the month of August. I read Jar of Hearts several years ago by this author and really enjoyed it, and I've heard great things about this one so far. And this one follows Paris, who in the opening part of the book, I believe, is found guilty of her husband's murder. She's found in her bathroom covered in blood, and he, I believe, is a celebrity, but that's not her biggest problem going to prison. She's more worried about secrets from her past coming to light. And then we also have Reyes, who 25 years earlier was convicted of a very similar murder that was blown up in the media, and when Paris is released early, Reyes threatens to divulge all of her secrets. Sounds interesting. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. I've not heard of a book with quite this plot before, so I'm very, very excited to give this one a go. All right, so prompt number 3. A 4, a 6, a 3, a 6, and a 2. You know how the board has lots of doubles, so we're going to keep the 2 6s and re-roll these. We got another 6, a 1, and a 3. I may regret this, but I'm going to keep this 6 out. And now we have a 4 and a 5. So the final tally, a 5, a 4, and 3 6s. Okay, let's see what that gets me. Next, a triple 6 isolated setting. Next, we got Isolated Setting. This one was really hard, not because I couldn't think of books with isolated settings, but because I was trying not to pick a horror or a thriller book, because we're starting to creep up into spooky season in August, and I do read a lot of thrillers and horrors in November and December as well, so I don't want to just completely burn myself out on them before I get to those months. So I was trying to find a book that was an isolated setting, but hopefully a fantasy, and I ended up choosing The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. There are 2 reasons that I chose this one. 1, it's an isolated setting and it's a fantasy, and 2, spoiler alert for my Magical Readathon TBR coming, it will be a reread, so it will fit for that one as well, and that was one of the prompts that I was really struggling with. on the Magical Readathon TBR, so this one's going to count for both of those things. This is a book following 6 strangers who are the top of their class in the magical world, and they get invited to this school to learn more magic and to be inducted into this society. But the problem is 6 of them are being offered the position, only 5 of them will get in. We don't know what happens to the 6th. I liked this one. I read the indie version a while ago and I enjoyed it. It wasn't a favorite, but I had a decent time with it. It is quite dense and a little bit on the pretentious side, as a lot of dark academia I find to be. But the author said that when she re-released the new version with Tor, that she added back in some stuff that she really wanted to put in the indie version but couldn't, and feels like you definitely need that to continue on in the series, which I kind of do want to do, so I need to reread this one in the traditionally published version to get the full experience for Atlas Paradox. So that's why I'm going to be rereading this one. Prompt number 4 out of 5. So we have a 3, 2 1s, a 2, and a 4. Let's keep 2 1s. Three, a 1, a 2. We'll keep that 1. Final roll. 4 1s and a 3. Okay, so let's see what prompt 4 1s is. For our 4th row, we got a quadruple 4, friend pick. For our next roll, we got friend pick, and I asked Rachel to pick my book for this month, and she chose In the Shadow of Lightning by Brian McLean. For a couple of reasons, I think. The first one is she really enjoys his other Powder Mage series, and I've been wanting to read it, but we both keep holding off because we think Cassidy might at some point pick it for the Backlist Book Club, and I need to have not read it if that's the case. So she really wanted me to read a Brian McLean. We both own this one, so she chose In the Shadow of Lightning for me. I believe this is following Demir in a world where magic is now more of a finite, sought-after resource. He is a prince of the realm, but left that all behind to kind of go off and do his own thing. But when his mother is murdered, he has to come back and claim his right to the throne and make some new allies to confront the powerful guild families who are trying to take over the kingdom. This sounds very, very political, and so I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. It's not short, but I've heard a lot of good things about Brian McLean's writing and his storytelling, so I'm excited to finally read something of his. Okay, so then the last and final prompt. 2 1s, a 6, a 4, and a 3. Guess we're holding out the 2 1s then. Where? 6 and 2 2s. Do we risk it? Do we just live on the wild side? Let's live on the wild side. Final roll. 2 6s and a 2. Alright, so we've got 2 6s, 2 1s, and a 2, which means most likely we're going to have to make something out of those 2 2s and 2 6s. And last but not least, our final roll, a double 6 double 2, which is dragons. And last but not least, we got the prompt dragons. I am going to, I don't think be cheating for this prompt, but I am going to pick a book that has already popped up once, and that is The Name of All Things. This book is part of a series called A Chorus of Dragons. There was a dragon in the first book. He played a minor role, but he was there, so I'm counting it. Hopefully this one counts as well. Obviously I haven't read it, but I'm assuming if it's part of the Chorus of Dragons series, it has a dragon in it. So we're going to be doing The Name of All Things for this prompt. So I just figured really quickly I would show you guys the final look of the board with everything covered up. Got a couple already over here on this side, so next month should be fun. Okay, so I don't have even, let's see, 2 of the books that I absolutely need to read, one of which is 700 pages long. Nettle and Bone's short, it's only like 250 pages, but without those 2 books, this is kind of what we're looking like for this month, which is a little bit terrifying, I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. We got this. So I decided, just because I was curious and I wanted to film my reaction of how many pages this is gonna be, I went ahead and figured out how many pages this is gonna be for the month and then how many I need to read per day. So this is a total of 4,002 pages according to Goodreads, and I would need to read at least 130 pages a day to get this done by the end of the month. That doesn't include my magical readathon TBR that's coming, that I'm sure is going to have more books than this on there, because of course it will. Okay, we got this. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Okay, but I think we can do it. 120 pages or 130 pages a day. If I've got an audiobook, it's not too bad. So we got this. But thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of TBR Bluff. Let me know down in the comments if any of these books you have read and think I'm gonna love or hate. If you think I'm gonna hate them, maybe comment like midway through the month. If you're here and you really just don't have a whole lot to say, but you want to let me know that you were here, leave me a dice emoji in honor of the first episode of TBR Bluff. If you guys want to, you can find me on my Patreon, linked down below, as well as Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a good thumbs up and subscribe if you wanna, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!